welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be cooking from the Civil War cookbook, making fricassee of chicken. Now I know there's not a lot of ingredients here, but they wouldn't have had a lot of ingredients available to them while they were out on campaign. The ingredients that I'm going to be cooking with today are one whole chicken that I've gone ahead and cut up into 6 pieces. I've got the 2 breast sections, the 2 leg quarter sections, and then over here are my wings. I'll also be using a half of a cup of flour, 4 tablespoons of butter, some salt and pepper, which I don't have out, a half of a cup of white wine, 1 cup of milk, and then I'll need enough water to cover the chicken so it can boil. Alright, let's get moved over to the stove and we can start bringing our fricassee together. Here at the stove, I've already gone ahead and added my chicken into the pot, and now I just need to cover it with the water. I've added about 5 cups of water. And now all we need to do is go ahead and season it with some salt and pepper. There was my salt, and then just a little bit of pepper. I'll season it more a little bit later. And I'll put this up on high until it comes up to a boil. Then I'll reduce it down to a simmer and let it simmer for about 25 to 30 minutes or until the chicken is tender and cooked through, but you don't want it falling off the bone. After half an hour of boiling, the chicken's done. I did remove it from the water, and I've placed it on a plate over here, and I've reserved a half of a cup of the water chicken stock that formed while the chicken was boiling. I've gone ahead and melted my 4 tablespoons of butter, and I want to add in my half of a cup of flour and give this a stir. Now that I have that stirred in, I'm going to add in that half a cup of reserve stock and slowly break up the flour and butter, getting it mixed in, trying to remove any lumps that might form. I also want to go ahead and add in my 1 cup of milk to help with this. That is still pretty lumpy and very, very thick. I'm going to go ahead and add in the half of a cup of wine now and see if I can work out any more of these lumps. There we go. That is definitely smoothing out a little bit, but it still seems a little bit way too thick for me. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit more of that reserve stock back in to try and thin this out a little bit. That looks a lot better to me. Still a little on the thick side. I may end up adding a little bit more of that stock to it, but I do want to go ahead and season with a little bit of salt and pepper. I don't want to add too much salt. I did have some from when we cooked the chicken earlier. I want to give it a quick stir, and then I'm going to check it for seasoning and see where we're at with it. Alright, I've got it to where the sauce to where I want it. It's seasoned good. I'm going to just drop my chicken pieces back in and allow them to heat back up. And then once they have, I'll get it plated up and I'll try it and see what it tastes like. I've plated up the fricassee of chicken, and I have to say it is definitely by far not one of my prettiest dishes I've ever made. But then I don't think the troops or even the officers would have been too concerned with how pretty the food looks as long as it was hot and filling. The sauce has a really good flavor to it, though it's still very, very thick. I thought maybe the wine wouldn't have enough time to cook out, but it did. It doesn't have like an overwhelming flavor of wine. It's just, you know, it's kind of a really good sauce. Let's get in here and try it with the chicken. Overall, this is a really good dish, and I would happily eat this anytime somebody put a plate of it down in front of me. What would I do different to give it more flavor? I think I would definitely boil it with some aromatics, like maybe a little bit of onion and celery thrown into that water while we boiled the chicken. I'd definitely start off with a little bit of chicken stock just to help boost the chicken flavor in the broth. I still think that the gravy needs to be a little bit thinner. It's still a little bit too thick or too much on the thick side for me, but it's not bad. It has a really good flavor, as I said. I don't think I would change the steps in which I added them. I would definitely keep that wine added there right at the end. I'd probably add in a little bit of thyme or marjoram. I think those would be some really good flavors, but you know, they didn't have those, and I wanted to try this as authentic as the cookbook had it listed. But that is going to be it for me for the day. If y'all have enjoyed this video, leave me a comment down below. If you guys tried this recipe out, let me know how it turned out for you. If you make any changes, let me know what those were. And as always, thank you all so very much for joining me today. I've been Volker. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.